Hey guys, welcome to an academy. So this is the daily analysis of the Hindu, and today is 12th of January 2017. It will be presented to you by me, Dipanshu Singh. So in case if you wish to read more about me, you can go through this slide. You can also follow me on our academy on this link, and please rate and review the course and do recommend each and every video. So the practice question for today is this one about the Nobel Prize Series India 2017 has been restarted by which state? Maharashtra, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, and Gujarat. So post your answers in the comment sections below. And the answer for yesterday's question is B, African nations. That was about the agenda related question. And so the first page news is regarding pollution. So there was a study by Greenpeace India which said that, which was conducted in approximately 168 cities in 2015, which said that out of that 154 cities, approximately 90% were found to have an average particulate matter level higher than the national standard as set by and none of them actually came closer to the WHO standard. So there can be a various reasons for that. So we'll look at some of the possible reasons for higher level of pollution in northern India as compared to southern Indian cities. The first and foremost is the cooler weather. Generally, in this part of this country, in this part of the year, there is generally cooler weather due to sinking of air and stagnant air conditions in northern India, which allows the PM matter to remain stagnant and does not allow it to sweep away due to the horizontal air circulation. And there is also a large and a huge big industrial clusters in the northern part of India as compared to southern Indian cities. And there is an intensive use of fossil fuels. And one of the biggest advantage of southern India, southern Indian states and cities is that they have that opening up to the sea, specifically if you look at the cities of Mumbai and Chennai, where there's a mixing of sea breezes, which kind of alleviates this problem. And another issue is the population pressure, because a lot of population dominated areas in northern India use a lot of fossil fuels, which again aggravates the situation of pollution levels in India. And we'll look at the additional info about the Central Pollution Control Board, which is actually the authority to measure the air quality index in India. So it is a statutory organization, was constituted in September 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Further, it was entrusted with the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. So this is important from point of view of exams, because generally UPSC asks the questions which particular body has been given the authority under which act. So the first, it was given under the Water Prevention and Control Act, and then it was given the authority and entrusted the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. Now, other than that, the principal functions of the Central Pollution Control Board are spelled out in the Water Act, and then in the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. So these are to promote cleanliness of streams and wells in different areas of states, to check and abate water pollution and air pollution in the country. The next bit of news is again related to environment. So Green Tribunal has ordered test of cosmetics containing microbeads. So these microbeads are actually tiny pieces of plastics. If you look at your general daily use beauty products and creams, these contain a lot of exfoliators, which are these microbeads. So these all remove dead cell by the means of frictions that end up in the ocean and then are swallowed by marine life. So these actually leads to bioaccumulation and can affect the neurological process in humans, and can lead to decreased human immune functioning and even fertility problems in humans. The next bit of news is about the triple talaq issue. So, talaq certificates issued by Chief Qazi has no legal sanctity. This is said by this is by an order of Madras High Court. So, certificate validating talaq as per Islamic Sharia has no legal sanctity. This has been said by Madras High Court, which passed an interim order regarding the same, and it certified that the certificate issued by Chief Qazi is only an opinion and does not have any legal sanctity as per the law or the Constitution of India. It was due to the PIL filed by Ms. Saeed that she claimed that the Qazis were issuing certificates without following necessary procedures like reconciliation, and certificates issued in arbitrary manner, which was causing undue hardship to Muslim women. And women will seek apex court permission to abort fetus with severe anomaly. So this is in context with the Medical Termination Pregnancy Act, which allows abortion only up to 20 weeks. So this case has again highlighted the importance and of implementation of the MTP bill, that is the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Bill. So it was actually, there was a draft released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare regarding this, which proposed changes that could initiate a shift in the focus of the Indian abortion discourse, from healthcare providers to women. And this would actually decrease the vulnerability of women and is very important because it will make the women within the clinical settings and free them from subjective interpretations of the law, which is one of the biggest causes of harassment and undue delaying of justice. The next bit of news again related to environment. So Hope Island, which is an island near the coast of Bay of Bengal, near the coast of Kakinada in Bay of Bengal, which has actually become a graveyard for olive-ridley turtles due to mechanized fishing boats affecting the turtles' natural migration to the island in their breeding seasons. And the ridley turtles, we need to know about them a little as in context of the UPSC exams. So they are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 in the Schedule 1, and they are categorized as vulnerable, so they are not endangered or critically endangered. This is important under the IUCN Red List. So the olive-ridley turtles are the smallest and most abundant of all the sea turtles found in the world. They generally inhabit the warm waters of Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Ocean. And there's some more insight into the news about this issue. So the Dharma Port project in Orissa has attracted a lot of attention from the environmentalists because of its proximity to vulnerable olive-ridley turtles and nesting ground. And there can be an issue that how can we balance the sustainable development and how can we balance the large infrastructure projects at the same time making it environmentally sustainable. So generally Odisha is a poor state economically, but it is very rich in natural sources. The port and other projects are required for its economic development, but it's also rich in biodiversity. So the onus should be on balancing the development projects along with maintaining the sanctity of the environment. And one of the major concern arises in development process how to achieve this balance and strive this balance between environment protection as well as ensuring rapid development of the economy. The next bit of news is from the international page regarding Kenya and India. So Kenya is looking for enhanced ties with India. So it is supporting India's campaign for United Nations reform and also betting for African representation. As you know that G4, the group of countries led by India, Brazil, Germany, and Japan are vying for a permanent seat in Security Council as per the United Nations reform. And they're also they're also vouching for a seat for some African nations because Africa is a very big continent and has a lot of global role in the global world stage in the global economy. So therefore, they also deserve a seat in the permanent seat in the Security Council. So Kenya has also asked India to deepen cooperation in agriculture sector and engage multilaterally. And India is going to engage more intensely at the COMESA. And they also sealed an agreement with India on line of credit of 100 million for agricultural mechanization. And India and Rwanda have announced a strategic partnership. So there was some criticism about that India has actually lost a lot of opportunities in many fronts after announcing strategic partnership with many countries, but they do not implement it fully, and they do not take it forward. And India has also not maintained any list of its strategic partnership and has not well defined criteria to qualify for strategic partnership with other countries. Now, the business page news is the tax break for political parties will be legal. This is as per an order by Supreme Court. So there was a writ petition filed by Emil Sharma, who would challenge the provision of Section 13A of the Income Tax Act of 1961 and Section 29B of the RPA 1951, which bench did not find any merit in. This was in context of the political parties receiving tax breaks in political funding. So the political parties which are registered with the Election Commission of India and are 100% exempted from paying income tax as long as they file their income tax return timely in every assessment year. So the Supreme Court actually dismissed this petition to lift 100% exemption. And it also observed that it was up to the government to decide what tax regime they need to impose on political parties. So some details about this is under the 29B of the RPA Act of 1951 that political parties are entitled to accept contribution subject to the provision of the Companies Act of 1956. And then obviously these all funding are regulated under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 1976, that is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So there are basically two criteria that they cannot receive funding from any government-backed government companies, and they have to maintain a record of funding received in excess of 20,000 rupees received by such political party from any person in that financial year or from any companies other than the government companies in that financial year. And the other section is about 29C4, which says that the treasurer of any political party which does not maintain proper records will, and that therefore, notwithstanding that the provisions contained in the Income Tax Act 1961, such political parties shall not be entitled to any tax relief under this act. Now, the World Bank has cut the growth forecast to 7% for 2016-17. This is in light and context of the demonetization and the subsequent weak industrial production and the service PMI index and IIP index. So, citing a slowdown in consumption and manufacturing due to demonetization, the World Bank has actually has cut India for growth forecast from 7.6% to 7%. However, it is expected to recover in the next year back to 7.6 and 7.8%. And other issues have been the reduction in private investment, excess capacity and underutilization, credit constraints due to bad balance, that is the NPA issue. So we can look at certain factors which can actually help and rebound the growth rate. So the first one is that the economy will actually benefit with the passage of the GST Act, and then obviously passage of bankruptcy and insolvency code can also help in this. And liberalization of FDI norms can actually help in by receiving of funding, which can be used to fund the big infrastructure projects. And then agreement between the government and the RBI on monetary policy framework and setting up the monetary policy committee is another thing that can work in its favor. Obviously, they need to balance it with the inflation-related issues in the economy. And as per the bank report, reforms initiatives that are expected to remove the supply bottlenecks are the increased infrastructure spending that should improve the business climate, and the Make in India can also support in the India's manufacturing sector. And then moderate inflation, which is the target of the Monetary Policy Committee, and pay hikes can actually improve consumption assisted by bumper crop. So as you know, most of the Indian economy's growth is consumption driven, and also in medium term, benefits of demonetization in liquidity is the liquidity expansion. There has been a surge in liquidity post demonetization after a lot of huge deposits of money in the bank, which can be actually used to fund infrastructure projects. And due to this, a lot of banks have actually cut down their rates due to speed up the lending process, and this was due to the also due to the fact of the MCLR rate, which actually forces the banks to cut the rates and pass on the benefits to the end consumers. And the other bit of news from Business Page is that the Niti Aayog has expected and projected a growth rate of 8% for 2016 and 17. And on-road emission test is going to be mandatory from 2020 once the Bharat stage norms are implemented in India. And this is by the Automotive Research Association in India is also developing a unified testing cycle. And last page news is about a telescope which will seek to have will seek habitable planet in nearest star system. So this is by the European Southern Observatory's very large telescope in Chile, which will be modified to search more effectively for potential habitable planets in Alpha Centauri, which is one of the nearest, which is actually the nearest star from Earth. And also, if you remember, there was a last year discovery of Earth-sized planet, which was announced and named Proxima Centauri in the star system of Alpha Centauri. And ESO is an intergovernmental astronomy organization backed by 16 countries in Europe and South America. So you need to be aware about this ESO. And world's first gender literature fest is going to be organized in Patna, and therefore this is being organized by Bihar's Women Development Corporation, and which will eventually organize this festival. And another bit of news related to environment, that a new species of gibbon has been discovered in China. It has been named as the Skywalker Hulok gibbon. So I guess this is it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. Do answer your questions in the comment sections below, and let us know your suggestion about the course. So till next video, thank you so much and have a good day.